welcome back to 2014's Blizzcon. We have some very special things going on all over the next 2 days. Of course, you've heard all of the announcements at the start of the day, and one of those was for us, the Starcraft 2 guys in here. Yeah? Oh, there you are. Okay. The light's quite strong on me, and I wasn't sure whether you guys were still there. We're going to have some fun, but I've got a feeling that it's not just going to be fun, it's also going to be very competitive, as we have an exhibition match in the brand new StarCraft 2, the final part of the trilogy, Legacy of the Void. Now, our 2v2 pro matches will take place in the brand new Archon mode as well, so it's your chance to see firsthand professionals playing in Archon mode. But first, for those of you who missed the announcement earlier on, it's okay, we've got your backs. This is Legacy of the Void.
I have pierced the veil of the future and beheld only oblivion. The Zerg swarm came as was foretold. And the Protoss rose to fight them.
The invasion fleet stands ready. We await only your command, Hierarch.
Today, we will reclaim our homeworld! Now, the Zelnaga that forged us all are returning.
The galaxy will burn with their coming. Fitting that we should face oblivion together.
Amon whispered of this from the stars. He told you of ruin, extinction, end of all things. The fate of creation hangs in the balance. My life for ire.
If you're not excited now, you never will be. Legacy of the Void is on its way. Open beta in January. It's time to introduce you to our players now. Our professional players have been practicing. They're ready. And while I said it would be a bit of fun, I've got a feeling it's going to be very competitive. Representing Team Dominion, let's hear it for MC and Hyun. Playing as Team Leviathan, they're also teammates in real life. Please welcome Stardust and Jack G. And we also have a very special guest on our analysis desk as well. Our friends over there are joined by none other than David Kim.
What's up, guys? Tasteless here with Moonglade at Rotterdam. Todd, but most importantly, David Kim himself. And we are going to be seeing Archon mode for the first time. David, for those of our viewers who are just now tuning in, can you tell us a little bit about what Archon mode is in Legacy of the Void?
Yeah, so Archon mode is like playing a 1v1 game of Starcraft 2, but you play with an ally. So for example, if you jump into a game of Archon mode, you start off with one base and the same amount of workers, and you control that one base and one army, but with an ally. So you can play it a little casually, or like you see here today, you can get the best players in the world to play and do moves that they're probably not capable of doing by themselves.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing you guys are implementing in here, because one thing about StarCraft 2 is it's so intimidating for a lot of people. I mean, there's really not a harder game out there. So to make this more accessible to new players who want to get in but not get the floor mopped with themselves, it's really an exciting thing. So, you know, our first match is going to be MC against, or MC with Hyun, excuse me, as Terran against Stardust with Jakji as Zerg. Now, this is the TVZ. What units, the new units that you put in, or the unit alterations you made, do you have anything special in mind for TVZ with that you're hoping to see these players use here?
Yeah, so for Terran, I think opening Hellions with a new Cyclone is pretty strong because Hellions can deal with Zerglings and Cyclones can deal with other units such as like Roaches. But I think more importantly, I'd like to see mech play because we've actually made a lot of buffs to Terran mech. For example, the Banshees can outrun all mobile detectors. And on the Zerg side, if Terran chooses to go mech, I think the new Ravager is really strong. And if Terran chooses to go bio, the new Lurker with the siege range upgrade, I think is the best option to go.
This is going to be really interesting. Moonglade, you're our Zerg expert. Do you have any questions about the new Zerg units in the game?
Well, they all seem pretty straightforward. I'm more interested about the Terran units, to be honest. Like,
okay, let's talk about the Terran units, please.
I'm so fascinated by them because they've just been... They look so strong now. I'm actually terrified of playing this game, like when it comes to open beta, because these Terran units just like... They're like Banshee with extra range. Like, I had a lot of trouble with Banshees already, and now, like, with extra range, my Queens are going to get kited by these guys. My Mutas aren't going to be able to catch them. It was very interesting to see. Why exactly did you buff the range of the Banshee?
So we wanted to make the Banshee more useful, not only for the harassing case, which is why we did the movement speed upgrade, but also in the army case, so that you can mix ground mech units with air mech units, so that mech play in general becomes a lot stronger and a lot more core. But we'll have to test and see if that's a good move, but yeah.
Yeah, obviously everything is still subject to change here.
Yeah, for sure.
Legacy of the Void still in development here. I have a quick question about the Lurker, since I'm all the way back from Brood War. What inspired you guys to bring you know, this old Brood War unit now here in this next expansion for Starcraft 2?
Yeah, so a lot of community feedback and pros told us that they wanted the Lurker back. So we've been testing the Lurker ever since back in HOTS. But because there are such hard counter units, such as Marauders, Immortals, or even Colossus, we couldn't really bring it back then. But now that we have the siege range upgrade, they're a powerful option again. So I think it was a matter of us not exploring to the full potential, that we couldn't bring it earlier than this. But now that we have it, I'm pretty excited to see it in action.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty cool seeing the Lurker here in Legacy of the Void. One thing that I think hasn't been discussed a lot, because obviously everybody's so excited about the new units and the alterations of the units that are already in the game, but when I went and played Legacy of the Void yesterday evening with the rest of you guys, I was blown away that there were 12 workers that you start out with.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about why you made the decision to have 12 workers now in Legacy of the Void?
Yeah, so we wanted to reduce passive parts of the game so that we can have less of those moments where you just sit and watch the same sort of game over and over. So we are experimenting with starting off with more workers so that at the start of the game, there's a less of a downtime before the action begins.
What I think is really fun, like obviously I'm really excited about the new units as well. The Terran units are still sort of a mystery to me. Like I've seen them in action now, but I still really look forward to see them in action. But there's also been a lot of changes to the units that already existed. For instance, the new Tor. Like if I was a Terran player, which I'm not, and my Terran is very bad, but if I was, I'd be hella excited about Tors that can repair itself. Like that is a huge change. And of course, the siege tank as well, the medevacs being able to pick it up. What made you guys do those changes?
So we wanted to explore with every single unit being as cool as possible and feeling its max potential. So we just sort of looked at the whole game as a whole and then tried to see if we can improve each unit. And these units that you're seeing today are just a snapshot of where we're at in development, but it doesn't really mean that these units for sure will be changed and these other units that aren't changed yet will not be changed. And it's just something that we're experimenting right now.
Todd, what are you thinking about the new units? Do you have any questions for David here?
Yeah, the Disruptor, I played a little bit with it, and it really feels like really unlike any other unit I've ever seen in an RTS game. The way it becomes invincible and then goes into most likely the opponent's army or mineral line and then blows stuff up. What's the main purpose for this unit? Adding it, like, is it supposed to be more of a support unit or harassment, or what was the intentions?
Yeah, so the reason why we added the Disruptor specifically on the robotics facility was because we were wondering if the Colossus is a little too all-round, and because the Colossus is a type of unit where your whole army kind of has to protect the Colossi to be able to win. So we wanted to reduce the Colossus's role a little bit to make it a little more situational and bring the new, really micro-intensive on both sides type of unit to kind of replace the core role of the splash on the robotics facility.
Well, guys, that is all the time we have for those questions because this match is ready to start. So we're going to be going into, it's going to be a best of one, by the way, but a game with MC and Yun controlling Terran and Stardust and Jakshi controlling Zerg in Archon mode for Legacy of the Void. It will be casted by, what is it, Day 9 and Apollo over there. Sorry, guys, it's been a long day. And they'll be doing that right now. Enjoy.